Greg at the Vinyl Arms, and thanks for tuning in. I've not had a ramble about three perfect albums for a while, so I'm going to have a ramble about three perfect albums, if that's all right. Perfect album. So it's about the production, it's about the sound, it's about the artwork, it's the whole package, isn't it? And particularly the artwork lends itself to vinyl so well. In addition, I don't know about you, but I find that kind of my music, what my ears want to listen to, changes, throughout the seasons. And I find when we get to this time of the year, it's December, it's cold outside, there's frost on the floor on a morning, you got to de-ice your car window, all that kind of jazz going on now, which is nice. I like the seasons, but I also find that when I sort of approach the winter season, the thing that really makes me feel warm inside, the thing that makes me tick and gets me motivated is rock music. So I find that I listen to a lot more rock in winter time. Maybe it's something called seasonal adjusted music syndrome. SAMS, there we go. We've just invented it, and I think it might actually be a thing. So, kicking off, this is the oldest record that I'm going to show you today, 1972, Wishbone Ash and Argus. Absolutely fabulous piece of rock here. You've got a twin guitar lead on this. You've got Andy Powell and a guy called Ted Turner, both very talented guitarists. And what I like about this twin sort of guitar approach is that once one guy is spent and shredded his fingers to death, the other guy takes over with all the new rejuvenation that needs. And a great example of the guitars really going at it on here is a track on side 2, the last track, Throw Down Your Sword, which is an absolute beast of a song. But really, the high, I mean, there isn't a filler on this. All the tracks are beautifully executed. But for me, the highlight of this is on side A, the middle track called Sometime World. It's quite epic. I'd say it's 6 or 7 minutes long. Different passages of the song. You've got quite a quiet phase, and then it really rocks up. About halfway through, and it's just such a beautifully crafted piece of work. And yeah, I think if you're not familiar with this album, I really do, challenge you to just go look on YouTube, type in Wishbone Ash and Sometime World and see what you think. I don't think you'll be disappointed. On engineer duties on this was a very young Martin Birch, who I'm a big fan of, but more on Martin later. So, number 1, 1972, Wishbone Ash, Argus. Now, fast forward a few years to 1976, and we've got another twin guitar on the classic Thin Lizzy, Johnny the Fox album. And we've got Scott Gorham and Brian Robertson, both, again, very talented guitarists and musicians. What I like about Thin Lizzy and what I particularly like about this album is it just makes me feel really good. It makes me feel really positive. I think Phil Lynott delivers the vocals with such a swagger, such confidence, such a certain vibe, and it just can't help but make you smile. It's a really great listen from start to finish. You're probably familiar with this album, but if you're not, please go check out the track Massacre. It's just, it really does emphasize the guitar, the skills that the two guitarists have perfectly well. Really great song. 1976, Vertigo Records, Thin Lizzy, Johnny the Fox. So to wrap up proceedings, we're going to go a little bit further forward in time, and we're going to be talking about two of my favourite guitarists. We're going to 1983, and we're talking about a band with the quality of Dave Merry and Adrian Smith in the ranks. And of course, we're talking about Iron Maiden. This album is absolutely class. It's the second Maiden album, well, it's the fourth Maiden album, but it's the second Maiden album with Bruce Dickinson on vocals after the departure of Paul Di'Anno. And Bruce on this album, I think, hits his peak. I really think this is just jaw-droppingly amazingly delivered vocals, throughout. And if you're not familiar with the album, then the one track I would recommend you go listen to is a tune called Revelations, and just listen to him sing, that song. It hits the high notes, the low notes, and everywhere in between. Absolute class. Onto the guitar, as I say, you've got Dave Merry and Adrian Smith, and this all throughout this record, all 9 tracks. Both of them are just doing amazing things with that guitar, making it sing. They really are. And also, what's interesting about this album is it's the first album where Nico McBrain comes to the band, and he's brilliant. The drums on this are really upfront, really loud, and yeah, just generally an absolutely fabulous record. Obviously, it's got great tracks on like Still Life, Where Eagles Dare, Flight of Icarus, a personal favourite of mine, and the ever classic The Trooper. And Steve Harris's bass on The Trooper is galloping along like 100 miles an hour. Just absolute brilliant. So yeah, 3 albums there, all rock, to make us feel warm inside for these winter months, all with a twin guitar theme. And 2 of them with production and engineering credits from a certain Martin Birch. So thanks for tuning in. If there's any twin guitar albums that you think I need to check out, drop them on the feed below. And yeah, see you next time. Bye.